I do not have kids and have never been married. My dad came to my apartment with gifts for two very young kids. He went ballistic when I tried to ask what he was talking about. My dad did something so wild yesterday and I am spinning myself in circles about it. So I will reiterate, again, that I do not have any kids and am not married. I have never been married, never even moved in with a man. Here's what happened. I have a shitty, low-rent apartment about 45 minutes away from my dad's house. It's on the 3rd floor, and you must walk into the apartment building and up flights of stairs to reach my door. Yesterday around 6 p.m., my dad knocked on my apartment door. I wasn't expecting him, so I was confused but pleasantly surprised when I answered. I greeted him usually, and he hugged me because he had a few toy boxes in his hands, like Fisher-Price toys for really young kids, even babies. I didn't say anything about them because I had no reason to assume they were for me, like I just didn't even register them in my brain. He looked normal. He wasn't breathing weirdly or sweaty, his pupils weren't huge, and nothing was off with him visually. When we hugged, I didn't smell anything strange, no alcohol or smoke or anything, but my face wasn't too close to him. I said I was happy he dropped by, but why is he here? He said he was shopping in the area when he saw these toys, which he held up for me proudly, and wanted to give them to the girls. I said, who? And he gave me two names I didn't recognize. I remember my brain sorting through the Rolodex of everyone I've ever met in our family Terminator style, and nobody matched. As I'm standing there trying to match the names of any kids I know, he peeks over my shoulder into the apartment and asks if the kids are here or are with Mike. Again, who is that? It's my husband. I must have been radiating confusion since now my dad is looking just as confused as I am but still keeping up a good mood kind of vibe. I tell him I am not married and have no kids. At first, he insisted I did, and when I reiterated that, he just kind of shook his head. At this point, I'm getting concerned. I ask my dad if he knows where he is. He starts to get frustrated quickly and confirms that he knows where he is and who I am. I begin to ask him questions that I've seen in movies, like do you know what time it is? Or the year. He gets increasingly angry. He starts shouting at me right in my face, yelling, "You think this is funny? And are you trying to make me look stupid?" There are bubbles of spit in the corners of his mouth. He went from 0 to 100 so fast it scared me, and I retreated a bit into my apartment. When I backed away, he took it as a personal offense and started screaming, "Oh, now you're scared? You're scared of me? Guess I'll just F off then." He stormed off, literally stomping his feet like a child down the hallway. I thought about chasing him but he was so angry that I didn't know it was a smart move. The whole interaction was less than 5 minutes. I closed and locked my door and immediately started making phone calls. I called my mom, uncle, and siblings. Nobody has any idea what just happened. I did ask my mom and sister if I was the crazy one and did have children I just forgot about. They confirmed I certainly didn't. Update, I finally found my dad. Anyone who bet on head injury and drugs, you're correct. There was no second family. I wish there were. My dad would just be in drama-related trouble and not medical trouble. He's got a massive concussion and severe brain damage. Doctors don't know how he even drove safely to my apartment. They think he was on autopilot since he takes that freeway nearly daily. The phantom kids are his coworkers. His brain somehow blended the details of his coworker's life into his own. Coworker has a daughter who is married and has 2 kids, and the memories of being told about the girls mashed together with memories of his daughter. The doctor says this is pretty common with head injuries. My uncle did find my dad and take him to the hospital. I practically dragged my uncle out of the room and into the hallway for an explanation. He told me what happened. Monday morning, my dad fell getting out of his car and cracked his head hard against the driveway. He got up, and everyone thought he was fine, so they went inside the house as usual. After a while, he had a headache, so they gave him a couple of prescription painkillers to ease the pain. That worked, so they just let him continue his day as usual. They only got concerned when I called and told my uncle what happened. I learned at the hospital from the doctor that there were enough painkillers in his body to numb a horse. The doctor says to not get my hopes up about my dad. Update, a couple of cops just came to talk to me and get a statement. They seemed to be taking me seriously and took my contact info. I told them everything about what happened when dad came to my apartment and what my uncle said.